Mark Cuban, the Shark Tank guy,
Mhm.
he said that if you don't get AI in 3 years, you're going to be a dinosaur.
He's not wrong.
So think of this deep dive as like your meteor avoidance strategy, right? We're going to be diving deep into DeepSeek, which is this AI platform that's like AI for everyone, not just Silicon Valley, like you, me.
Everyone.
Yeah. And that barista who makes those awesome designs in the foam.
Exactly. It's really exciting.
Yeah. So are you ready to like unlock some serious brain power?
I am, yeah. DeepSeek is really interesting because it's built on this idea that the power of AI, it really comes when it's in the hands of problem solvers everywhere. And they've created these tools that are like user-friendly enough for like me who's,
You're an expert, though.
I dabble, but for beginners, but it also has the power that experts demand.
Okay, so color me intrigued. But can we get out of the clouds for a sec? What does this actually look like? Because DeepSeek, they don't just stop at making AI easy to use. They're talking about using it to tackle like massive world problems. Climate change, poverty, the whole shebang.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting. They've actually tied their goals to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay, the SDGs. For anyone listening who needs a refresher, what are those again?
They're basically like a blueprint for a better world by 2030.
Okay, pretty ambitious. So how does DeepSeek actually think they can help achieve that? Do they have like an army of AI robots building solar panels or something?
No, not quite, although that would be pretty cool. But the applications are really impressive.
Right.
So take, for example, SDG 1, which is ending poverty.
Okay.
One of DeepSeek's tools uses machine learning to analyze, these huge data sets of economic indicators to actually predict economic downturns before they happen.
Whoa. So it's like having, what, an early warning system for the economy?
Exactly. So it gives governments and organizations a head start on, like, developing support programs for people.
That's incredible. That's such a different approach from the way things are usually done, right?
Yeah.
It's usually all reactive, waiting for something bad to happen and then scrambling to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets even more interesting when you look at SDG 2, Zero Hunger.
Oh, okay. Tell me more about that.
So DeepSeek has developed this AI-powered tool called 𝗧𝗕ᗕ𝗓. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
So farmers can use it to analyze, satellite imagery and all kinds of soil data. They get all these super specific insights on stuff like planting times, when to irrigate, and even potential pest threats.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's like
way more concrete than just like throwing out a buzzword like AI and saying it can help agriculture.
Right, exactly. It's way more targeted.
It sounds like it could actually make a real difference, especially for farmers and places where people are struggling to get enough food.
Yeah, definitely. And then when it comes to health and well-being,
Yeah.
exactly. DeepSeek is playing a role there too. Think about things like optimizing medical supply chains.
Yeah.
It sounds boring, but it's so important.
Yeah.
They have the system that uses AI to predict, like, where medicine needs to go, how much is needed, and even suggest the best routes to get it there.
To make sure it gets to the people who need it most.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm starting to see how DeepSeek is like taking these huge, overwhelming global problems and breaking them down into smaller pieces that can actually be solved.
Yeah. It's a whole different way of thinking about these issues.
Yeah, it is. But all of the stuff you've talked about so far is about like governments and big organizations using DeepSeek.
Yeah.
What about just regular people? Like, how does this platform empower individuals?
That's a great question. That's actually where it gets really, really interesting. Because DeepSeek isn't just about these top-down solutions. It's about giving regular people the tools to, analyze information themselves,
Right.
Identify problems, and even come up with their own solutions.
So instead of waiting for like the government or someone else to fix things, DeepSeek is saying, hey, you can make a difference too.
Yeah, exactly. It's really empowering.
Okay, I love that. But I'm having a little trouble picturing it. Can you give me a specific example?
Okay, so imagine you're worried about how your local government is spending money, right? Like your tax dollar.
Always a concern.
DeepSeek has this tool that lets you track those funds. You can see exactly where the money is going, compare spending across different departments.
Hold on. Are you saying I could actually hold my elected officials accountable for how they're spending my money?
Yep, that's the idea. And it goes beyond just like basic transparency.
Okay.
They also have tools that help you like analyze how effective government programs and policies actually are.
Interesting. So it's not just about knowing where the money's going. It's about understanding the impact of those decisions.
Exactly. It's about giving people the information and the tools they need to understand what's happening and then actually do something about it.
Advocate for change, hold their leaders accountable?
Exactly. That's what it's all about. Making democracy stronger by making citizens more informed and empowered.
I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. DeepSeek isn't just some cool tech platform. It's potentially changing how we approach, like, problem solving, government, even what it means to be a citizen in a democracy.
It's really exciting. And you know, one of the key parts of DeepSeek's whole approach is collaboration. Because they get it. They know these big problems. We can't solve them alone.
Right. It's like that old saying, two heads are better than one. But in this case, it's more like millions of heads powered by AI are better than one.
Exactly. And they actually have tools built into the platform to make that happen.
Like what?
Like, imagine a group of scientists in Europe working with engineers in Africa, and they're all collaborating to develop, like, sustainable energy solutions, all through DeepSeek's platform. That's possible.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. It's not just connecting people, it's connecting their ideas, their skills, their resources.
And breaking down all those traditional barriers to collaboration, like geography, language, different institutions. I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless.
Right. Think about it. You could have a high school student in India working on a project with, like, a Nobel Prize winner from the US, all because of DeepSeek.
Okay, now I'm getting chills. This idea of, like, a global brain trust, all powered by AI, and driven by this shared desire to solve problems together.
That's powerful, isn't it?
It really is. But it's not just about solving problems, right? It's also about, like, helping people grow and learn and reach their full potential. At least that's what DeepSeek is saying.
Exactly. And they have all these tools for personalized learning. So they're AI algorithms. They can analyze your learning style, what you're interested in, even your skill level.
And then it creates a learning plan just for you.
Exactly. Like having a personal tutor living inside your computer.
Whoa, that's next level.
It is. And it's not just for students either. Anyone can use it to learn new skills. You know, anything from coding to graphic design, even business management.
So it doesn't matter if you're, like, a teenager in a small village somewhere or a retired teacher in New York City. DeepSeek can help you keep learning and growing.
Precisely. It's about making lifelong learning a reality for everyone.
That's amazing. It sounds like DeepSeek is really trying to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential.
I think that's a great way to put it.
I'm really curious to hear more about, like, real people who are using DeepSeek and how it's actually changing their lives. Do our sources have any examples of that?
They do. In fact, they highlight a really powerful story. Her name is 𝗧𝗔𝗓, and she's a Maasai woman from Tanzania. And her story, it really shows the impact DeepSeek can have on an individual's life.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Tell me everything about 𝗧𝗓𝗓 and how DeepSeek changed her world.
All right, well, to understand her story, you got to understand the context. She comes from a community that has historically been marginalized. You know, they haven't had access to a lot of the resources and opportunities that a lot of us take for granted.
So she's starting from a place where the odds are already stacked against her.
Yeah. And then she discovers DeepSeek. She's immediately drawn to this idea of knowledge and empowerment, and she starts using it to learn new skills, connect with the wider world.
Okay, I can already see how this is like a major turning point for her.
It is. But how does this translate into real-world change?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. What does she actually do with DeepSeek?
Well, one of the first things she does is she uses that 𝗬𝗕ᗏ tool we were talking about earlier to learn about sustainable agriculture. Because climate change is hitting her village hard, and it's making it really difficult to grow food.
So she's, like, taking this global issue and applying it directly to her own local context, using DeepSeek to find solutions that will actually work for her community.
Exactly. And the best part is she doesn't just keep this knowledge to herself. She uses DeepSeek's communication tools to teach everyone in her community about things like water conservation, soil health, different farming techniques that can help them adapt to a changing climate.
Wow. So she's not just learning, she's teaching, she's leading, she's becoming a change maker in her own community.
That's exactly right. But it doesn't stop there. She also noticed that a lot of the women in her village were struggling financially.
Makes sense.
So she dove into DeepSeek's business development tools and started helping women launch their own small businesses.
So she's using DeepSeek to create economic opportunities and empower women in her community.
Exactly. And then, get this, she starts using DeepSeek's sentiment analysis tool to understand the social dynamics in her village.
Whoa, wait a minute. What did that even mean? Is she, like, reading people's minds?
Not quite. But sentiment analysis, it basically allows her to analyze online conversations, social media posts, stuff like that, to get a sense of how people are feeling about certain issues, especially when it comes to gender roles and equality.
So she's using this really advanced technology to gain a deeper understanding of her own community's culture.
Exactly. And then she uses that information to spark conversations, challenge old ways of thinking, and really advocate for greater equality between men and women in her village.
It's amazing to think that this woman from this small village is using this cutting-edge AI technology to tackle these really deep-rooted social problems.
Yeah, it is. And because DeepSeek is a global platform, she's able to connect with other marginalized communities around the world.
Oh, wow.
She shares her story, she learns from others, and she's building this incredible network of support and solidarity.
That's incredible. So she's gone from being, almost a victim of these global challenges to becoming a leader in the fight to overcome them.
It really is inspiring. And 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡 experience is not unique. DeepSeek is designed to empower others just like her, people who are often overlooked by, traditional systems and institutions.
It's a good reminder that solutions can come from anywhere. Anyone can be a change maker if they have the right tools.
That's right.
𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡 story seems like the perfect example of all the things we've been talking about, Using AI for good, empowering people, building a global community of problem solvers.
It really is. But, we should probably take a moment to think about some of the challenges and downsides, too. Because it can't all be sunshine and roses, right?
Yeah, true. I mean, any powerful tool can be misused. Plus, there are a ton of people in the world who still don't have access to the internet or basic technology, let alone something as advanced as DeepSeek.
Exactly. So there's a lot to consider.
Yeah, there are definitely some hurdles to overcome. But before we dive into all that, let's take a quick breather. So before the break, we were geeking out about 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡 and how she's using DeepSeek to totally change her world. It's just amazing to me that this platform isn't just giving people information, it's giving them the power to actually do something with it.
It really is a different approach. It's about recognizing that the people closest to the problems often have the best solutions. DeepSeek's all about empowering those people, not just relying on, the same old top-down approaches.
Right. It's like for so long, technology has been this exclusive club, but DeepSeek's like, nope, we're opening the doors, everyone's invited, let's solve some problems together.
I love that analogy. But as you mentioned before the break, there are some potential bumps in the road. Like, one of DeepSeek's core assumptions is that everyone has access to technology and the internet. And
yeah, that's the big elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
We can talk all day about the potential of AI, but if people can't even get online.
It's a moot point.
Exactly.
So digital inclusion is a massive hurdle for DeepSeek. It's something they absolutely have to address if they want to make AI truly democratic. Even with a user-friendly design, you still need a certain level of digital literacy to navigate it effectively.
Right. So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about building the infrastructure and support systems around it.
You got it. They'll need to invest in education and training programs so people actually have the skills to use the platform and understand the information they're getting.
And I imagine that's even harder in places where, the education system isn't great or there are a lot of different languages spoken.
Oh, absolutely. DeepSeek needs to get creative if they want to bridge that digital literacy gap. Make sure that everyone can benefit, no matter their background.
Okay, so access and digital literacy, those are two big challenges. What other potential downsides are we looking at when we talk about this idea of democratized AI?
Well, one concern that always comes up with AI is bias. Algorithms are trained on data, and if that data reflects existing societal biases,
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
those biases can get baked right into the AI system.
So even if DeepSeek has good intentions, the platform could still end up perpetuating harmful stereotypes or discriminatory practices.
Yeah, it's a real risk. DeepSeek's developers need to be super careful about the data they're using to train their algorithms. It needs to be diverse and representative of, the whole population. And they need to figure out how to detect and mitigate bias within the platform itself.
That's a big responsibility.
It is. And it goes beyond just technical fixes, too. They'll need to cultivate this whole culture of ethical awareness and responsibility within DeepSeek's community.
So ongoing dialogue about the potential risks of AI, educational resources, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Transparency is key, too. DeepSeek has to be open about how it's addressing bias and making sure the platform's used ethically.
Okay, so we've talked about access, digital literacy, and bias. Anything else we should be worried about when it comes to DeepSeek's vision?
One more thing that comes to mind is information overload. DeepSeek's giving people access to mountains of data and information.
Which is awesome.
It is. But it can also be overwhelming. How do you sift through it all? How do you know what's reliable?
Yeah, I mean, even without AI, we're already drowning in information. Adding AI to the mix could make it even harder to figure out what's true and what's not.
That's right. DeepSeek will have to come up with ways to help people navigate all that information. Maybe AI-powered filtering systems or personalized recommendations could help.
So make the platform not just accessible, but also easy to understand for people who aren't data scientists.
Right. It's a balancing act. Giving people access to information while making sure they can actually process it and use it effectively.
Okay, so there are definitely some challenges ahead for DeepSeek.
Yeah.
But what if they pull it off? What if they actually manage to democratize AI? What could that world look like?
The possibilities are pretty amazing when you really think about it. Imagine a world where every student has a personal AI tutor, where entrepreneurs in developing countries can use AI to build their businesses, where communities can predict and prevent natural disasters.
And where citizens can actually hold their governments accountable in real time.
Exactly. It's a world where knowledge and opportunities are available to everyone, not just a select few.
Where power is more evenly distributed and solutions to global problems can come from anywhere.
It's a world where technology is used to empower, not to exploit, to connect, not to divide.
Okay, hold on. You're painting a picture of utopia here.
Huh, maybe. But it's important to dream big, right? To imagine what's possible if we use technology for good.
I agree. Even if DeepSeek doesn't achieve every single goal, they're starting a conversation, challenging the status quo, and forcing us to think differently about AI.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the most exciting part of all of this. What does it mean for you, for the listener? If DeepSeek really does make AI accessible to everyone, what are the possibilities?
What problems could you solve? What kind of change could you create? It's a pretty powerful question, and I think we all need to be asking ourselves that.
I think so too. DeepSeek is offering the tools. What will you create with them?
Okay, my brain is officially fried after that last part. I mean, AI for everyone, it's a pretty big idea.
It is. DeepSeek's really trying to push the boundaries.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about those challenges we talked about, right?
Yeah, all that stuff about access, digital literacy, bias, information overload, those are serious issues.
They are. And it's not just up to DeepSeek to fix them. This is something we all have to think about.
Yeah, I mean, this is the future we're talking about here. So what can we do? How can we actually contribute to, like, making AI accessible and beneficial for everyone?
Well, there are a lot of things we can do. We can support organizations working to close the digital divide.
Right.
Push for policies that make sure everyone has access to technology. We can learn about AI ourselves and teach others how to use it responsibly.
And I guess most importantly, we can't just blindly accept every new technology that comes along. We have to ask tough questions.
Absolutely. Think critically about the potential consequences. Hold the creators and the users of AI accountable.
Be informed, be engaged.
Exactly. We can't just be passive consumers of technology. We have to be active participants in shaping the future.
This whole conversation has really driven home the point that AI isn't some separate thing. You know, it's a reflection of us, our values, our choices.
I agree. If we want AI to benefit humanity, we have to be intentional about how we develop it and use it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into DeepSeek, I want to leave our listeners with a little challenge.
A call to action.
Yeah, exactly. Don't just sit back and watch this AI revolution happen. Get involved.
Explore DeepSeek and other platforms. Learn about AI, experiment with the tools, ask questions.
What are you passionate about? What problems do you want to solve? What kind of world do you want to create?
DeepSeek is giving you the tools. Now it's up to you to decide what you're going to build.
That's all for this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you found this exploration of DeepSeek thought-provoking and maybe even a little inspiring.
It's a fascinating topic with huge implications for the future.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.